Well, welcome, everyone. We are so excited you are joining us. This is Navigating Racial Justice, a virtual town hall for young people. This is presented by the Magnolia chapter of the Links Incorporated in partnership with the Carrie Steele Pitts Home. Carrie Steele Pitts is celebrating its 132nd anniversary this weekend, and this event is really just a continuation of the mission that they have had here to help foster children develop the life skills that they so desperately need and to really bring them some independence as they age out of the system and live their dreams. You're going to meet some fascinating and incredible young people who are alums of Carrie Steele Pitts and really are showing you what has happened to them as they have really gone on with their lives and are now in college and enjoying things. I'm Karen Greer from CBS 46, and I'm going to be a host with you today, along with another fascinating young person. I have been a part of the Magnolia Links for many years now, and this program really is exciting because it is our chance, one of our chances to give back and hear what the community has to say, especially the young people, about what they're going through and any questions they may have. And we've got a talented panel ready to answer those questions and give them some information. And as I said, I've got a co-host, and there he is with that handsome smile, Reggie Holloway. Reggie, great to see you, a resident, and as I said, an alum of Carrie Steele Pitts. He's going to tell you more about himself in just a bit. Now, this town hall, as we said, is for young people, teenagers, young adults, to just hear what they have to say, and really they need to understand what racial injustice is all about, because it's something they could face at any time, at any moment, and we want them to be prepared. Now, if you know someone who should tune in right now, you got a minute, because we've got some great things on tap and they don't want to miss any of it. So let them know. Send them a link to our program right now. We're on YouTube Live, Facebook Live. I've already seen some people say, I don't have Facebook. Okay, YouTube Live. You can pick us up there as well, or start a Facebook Live party and have all your friends join us. All right. So we have an exciting panel joining us right now of experts ranging from rapper activist Killer Mike. We've got a federal agent who is amazing, Cedria Davis, and two college students who were actually tased that you saw on live television as they were being arrested by Atlanta police. It was an incident that really changed the way things are done here in Atlanta. We also have some young people who've organized protests around some of what we've been seeing. So we're going to divide our discussion up into three areas: your options, your reality, and protests. All right, organized protests would be the last one. As mentioned earlier, the Magnolia chapter of the Links Incorporated is the sponsor of this event, led by our dynamic president, Deon Griffin. So we want this town hall to help guide young people through the legal, emotional, and physical demands that this world has to offer all of us with racial issues. The deaths of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and so many more have weighed heavily on our nation, on our minds, on our lives. So we really want this to make a difference for our young people and make this happen. So for years as Magnolia Links, we've devoted time, resources, and money to the Carrie Steele Pitts Home and to Coretta Scott King Young Women's Leadership Academy. And we know our Magnolia stars are tuning in there as well. So I want to say a good afternoon to them, a big shout out to them. And Reggie, you got some friends watching. You got a group watching as well.
That's right, Miss Karen. I would like to give a personal shout out to my wonderful residents at Carrie Steele Pitts Home, a place where I've been staying a little over 3 years now. I've spent 20 years in foster care, and it's with the warm, welcoming, and understanding support from Carrie Steele Pitts Home was where I can truly flourish within my dreams and aspirations. Right now, I'm a sophomore at Georgia Gwinnett College, working on a degree in English. Next semester, I'll be transferring to the University of West Georgia, where I hope to obtain a dual degree in mass communications and also U.S. history. One day, I would like to work as an international correspondent for a news team, a national news team. I want to thank the Magnolia Links for allowing me this opportunity to co-host with an Emmy Award-winning journalist like Ms. Karen Greer. I must also thank everyone connected within my Carrie Steele Pitts family, especially Dr. Levizo, who here we call Doc. She is an executive director and her love and guidance keeps us motivated and focused with every career, aspiration, and goal that we have to succeed in life. The home began as an orphanage in 1888, but has transitioned to something much sweeter, a place for all of us to grow. I thank everyone here for what you've done for me. I'm also grateful for everyone in the Atlanta community that has continued to support Carrie Still Pitts over the years.
So proud of you, Reggie. So excited you're my co-host today. Wow, if everybody could be there and give you a big round of applause and just a group hug, we would love to do that. Thank you, Reggie, for helping us kick things off. And you know what? We also have Dennis Jacobs, another resident of Carrie Still Pitts. He's behind the scenes. He produced original music for us for this program today. So we'll meet him a little bit later. So you're going to love to hear what he's doing and what he's got going on. Right, Reggie?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so let's get started by bringing on our esteemed panelists and kind of really enjoy what's going on. We've got a whole lot to give you this afternoon. And Donna Lowry is our chief behind the scenes. She has done all the work. Ms. Donna's been amazing, hasn't she? Reggie, she's done a great job with you, with me. There she is. Oh, I saw her for a minute. Hey, Donna.
I'm here, and I want to thank you both for doing this. And what I want to tell you is we want to hear from the mayor. You want to hear from her? Let's do that right now.
Hello, I'm Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, and it's my pleasure to join the Magnolia chapter of the Links Incorporated and the Carrie Still Pitts Home for this town hall on navigating racial justice. The city of Atlanta is grateful and proud of the work that the Links, the Carrie Still Pitts Home, and the Coretta Scott King Academy continue to do for our families, especially for our children. For the young adults who have joined this event today, you've heard about the civil rights movement of the 1960s, the fight for equality led by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., our Congressman John Lewis, Ruby Doris Smith Robinson, and so many others. We've made a great deal of progress because of their sacrifices, but there is more progress to be made, and they have passed the baton on to each of us. Because of the unequal treatment that our communities continue to face, our country is now in the midst of another reckoning on race and racism, a new civil rights movement driven by a younger generation. We've seen many instances on social media, on television, too many instances of injustice in our communities. We have to have conversations like this to continue to fight for our communities, to stand up for our communities. Conversations like this sparked the civil rights movement of our forefathers' time. Bringing our voices together like this in a setting like this town hall to talk about these issues is important for finding solutions that will help our communities and all Americans come together, heal, and move forward. From these conversations, I truly believe that you will be poised to become the leaders of our time. As President of the United States or Mayor or whatever it is that your heart desires, I do know that you can and will make a difference in our communities. Right now, you can join the fight to level the playing field for all of our communities when it comes to things such as criminal justice reform, education, economic opportunity, and affordable housing. Everyone taking part in this town hall should be congratulated simply for showing up to be a part of a conversation that will help improve the lives in our communities and throughout our country. My wish for you today is that you contribute honestly and openly to a discussion of ideas that can help move our country forward. I also hope that in the future you will use your strength to dismantle systems of oppression and your strong character to create goodwill. And I hope that you will always use your courage to battle injustice and your voices to speak truth to power. Thank you.
Love that.
Thank you, Mayor Bottoms. Those of us at Carrie Still Pitts Home, thank you for always supporting us. We appreciate your words of kindness as we celebrate 132 years here.
Absolutely. All right, let's get started and bring on our esteemed panelists. So excited to have everybody here with us. We're pleased to welcome rapper, songwriter, actor, and activist, and now I'll say bank owner, Killer Mike, with us, and federal agent, Cedria Davis. Um, so excited to have you both here. Let me tell you a little bit about each of you. Let everybody out there. Mike making his debut on Outkast's Stankonia album, later appearing on the Grammy-winning Big Boy and Dre Present Outkast album. He's released 5 full-length albums as solo artist, founder of Grind Time Official Records. He's appeared in several films, documentary series he owns called Trigger Warning with Killer Mike on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, you need to. He's well known as a social and political activist on social inequality, police brutality, systemic racism. He's delivered addresses on those issues and written about them for publications like Billboard. Also joining us, a fellow member of our organization, the Links Incorporated from the Buckhead Cascade chapter, Cedria Davis. Special Agent Davis began her career in law enforcement in 1998 as a Fulton County Sheriff's Deputy. In 2010, she became a special agent with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development's Office of Inspector General. Special Agent Davis actually is responsible for conducting and investigating violations of federal white-collar crimes. During the Obama administration, she worked on a White House task force on improving police relations with communities. So I want to welcome both of you to our panel today. Thank you so much. I want to begin, Mike, we talked early on, just right after these protests turned brutal, turned just crazy for everyone to have to watch, and took an ugly turn for the world. All eyes were on Atlanta. It was horrible to see. You took it personally. We all heard you when you were called to City Hall to join our mayor to try and calm the peace. Can you talk about that moment for you?
I didn't want to go. I was with T.I., my business partner. We were running around with the Bankhead Seafood truck and just kind of reintroducing people to the restaurant we bought from Miss Helen Hart. And when your friend badgers you for an hour with saying this is the right thing to do, eventually you whittle down and you listen to the voice of God speaking through your friend and you go. The irony of this all is Carriage Steel is located in my community. I grew up not far from Carriage Steel. I grew up on Carey Drive. I look much like your handsome co-host at his age. Me and Tip feeling important that the West Side still be a place of opportunity for young people. And a lot of people interpreted us as saying, hey, save downtown Atlanta and Lenox Mall. They don't understand that the West Side is literally 4 miles from where the protest was. So if you would have left the CNN Center, hooked the left on Ivan Allen and kept over until it skipped over into Joseph Boone, you would have walked directly down the street that I grew up on in our neighborhood. And what I was saying to young people from that neighborhood is, if you remain steadfast in your education, if you remain steadfast in not only protesting, but bettering your individual self and your community, the systemic change that you want is possible. But if you allow others to use your group as camouflage to burn your city and your neighborhoods down, then you are handicapping yourself. Nothing more, nothing less. I wasn't talking to Minneapolis, wasn't talking to Miami, New York, LA, or any place in between. I was talking to Atlanta, Georgia, where you can put 4 Black people on the line at the same time. We're successful, whether they're federal agents, business owners, Grammy-winning rappers, news broadcasters, and future international news broadcasters. There is hope in this small city. And I did not want to see that hope extinguished for a moment of justified anger and pain.
And Agent Davis, you have really, to see Noble want to be a part of what's going on in our communities is amazing. They are partnering with the Links and really trying to make a difference. Why is that?
Well, Karen, let me just first start off by saying thank you very much. And thank you, Reggie, very much for serving as co-host. And I would like to thank the Magnolia chapter of the Links Incorporated. And just to tell you just a little bit about Noble, I mean, it's an organization that I've been a lifetime member for a very long time. And it's actually my pleasure to sit on this panel with Killer Mike, because approximately 3 years ago, and Killer Mike, I'm not sure if you remember, you sat in on the panel. And so I had a chance to work with you. So again, it's so good to see you in this forum. But again, just to tell you a little bit about Noble, an organization that I hold dear and near to my heart. It is a law enforcement organization that was founded in 1976 to address crime in low-income areas, as well as serve as the conscience of law enforcement. Noble's membership consists of approximately 3,000 members of local, state, and federal law enforcement officers who work very, very hard. And we deal with issues that are, in fact, affecting the community. And at this time, I would just like to share a few highlights of some of our most influential members in Noble, because if it wasn't for them, there's no way that I would be here today. And so let me first start off by saying that one of Noble's past presidents, as well as the very first Black or African-American police chief of the city of Atlanta, George Natter, was an influential member. And unfortunately, he has passed, but he has left a legacy like no other. And then if we move on to Beverly Harvard, the first African-American female police chief, he was a member of Noble, as well as the former United States Marshal of the Northern District of Georgia right here. And I've had the pleasure of working with her in a federal law enforcement capacity. And then current day, we have interim police chief Rodney Harris, who is also a member of Noble. But then let me take you back even further, because this is where I got my start. And that is with the Honorable Jacqueline H. Baird, who was the first female African-American sheriff in the nation, followed by Sheriff Theodore Ted Jackson, who is also my boss, who is the current Fulton County sheriff. And then the incoming sheriff of Fulton County, Patrick Labatt, who is also a dear friend, Eric Levitt, the sheriff of Rockdale County Sheriff's Office, Mirtha Ramos, who is the police chief of DeKalb County. You have Melody Maddox, who is also the sheriff of DeKalb County, as well as police chiefs who are at Spelman College and my alma mater, Clark Atlanta University. So if I can talk just a few minutes more just to explain how this came to be, the partnership, Noble partnered with the Links Incorporated in 2019 under the leadership of two former national presidents who are also members of the Links Incorporated, Chief Vera Bumpers and Chief Saralyn C.J. Davis, as well as the national president of the Links Incorporated, Dr. Kimberly Jeffries Leonard. And that national initiative was titled Peace, Police Engagement, and Community Education. And what that is scheduled to do is it is to form a partnership, and it's to teach the public how to effectively interact and engage with law enforcement. So again, I'm just so proud to be here as a member of Noble.
I have a question for you, Ms. Davis.
Yes.
Within the recent months of given the police shootings, and of course with in recent times of the verdicts within Breonna Taylor's case, and also the Ahmaud Arbery's and many others, many of our people within the African American community, especially the young people, are so concerned when it comes to engaging with the police. Can you give us any insight on how a model of how should we interact with the police?
Absolutely. And thank you very much, Reggie, for that question, because that is an extremely important question. It's always been an important question. And we've worked very, very hard to come up with solutions in law enforcement, and especially within Noble. And I failed to mention, I would also like to bring you greetings on behalf of the national president of Noble, Linda Williams. So what I would say to the youth who are listening and to the general public as a whole, comply, comply, comply. I know that may not always be easy, but you must comply, and everything else we can work out. In addition, do not argue with the police. It is a very stressful time for law enforcement officers, but it's also a very stressful time for the youth if you've never been in that type of environment before. So do not argue with the police. If it does become a case where you feel as if you need to file a complaint, which you are able to do, and that is your right, request the police officer's name or the law enforcement officer's name. the badge number, the patrol car. Be respectful, courteous, and polite. And I cannot stress that enough. Be respectful, courteous, and polite. Additionally, remain calm. Do not raise your voice. Do not use curse words, because all that's going to do is just aggravate the situation. And we want to make sure that you are safe. We also want to make sure that you avoid physical contact. Do not brush up against a law enforcement officer. Now, it's different if you lose your balance. That's one particular instance. But do your best not to do your best not to have any physical contact. Do not run. Do not run from the police. And again, as I stated before, I know you are afraid, and it's okay, but do not run from the police. Do not resist arrest at all. Do not resist. If you are a juvenile, which many of you are, I would say that you are able to ask for a guardian or a parent. You are able to ask for that. So remember that. And if you feel as though you've been mistreated, there is a formal process that you can go through, and that is with any agency. Every agency has an internal affairs section, or division. So you can definitely file a complaint. But the goal, and I cannot emphasize this any more than what I'm getting ready to say, the goal is we want you to get home safely. Get home safely.
And Mike, with that said, just to follow up on Agent Davis, I want to hear you.
Well, I'm the son of a police officer. My dad grew up and went to Harper High School, which is not far from you guys, when it was a high school. And he gave me some very sound advice at about 12 years old. It's not often you hear rappers co-signing cops. I don't always like to hear the word comply, but my dad told me this. He said, Michael, there is no, well, he calls me Nuck. He said, Nuck, there's no disrespectful way to say yes, sir, and no, ma'am. So when you interact with the police, your goal is to survive the encounter and get home. I don't care how angry you are. I don't care how you feel you're justified. Your purpose is to say yes, sir, no, ma'am, in that situation, handle it respectfully, and get out of the situation. If they tell you they're going to detain or arrest you, shut up. And in fact, shut the F up. Don't say anything. Get taken in and wait for your mother and me to get there. A perfect example is I was at Collier Heights Elementary, which used to be up the street from you guys. A group of kids who were not supposed to be there were standing there, and they were standing near me. A police officer came and he asked everyone to move to the bottom of the hill. I told the policeman, I want to comply with you, but my grandmother and father are in the building, and they told me to stand here. The policeman said, well, if you're not going to go to the bottom of the hill like I told the other kids, then I'm going to have to arrest you. I said, I understand, sir, but I was told by my parents to not go down to the bottom, and I don't know those kids. He handcuffed me. He put me in the back of a car. When my grandmother and father came down, it was worked out, and I got out. Now, he could have taken me to juvenile, could have taken me in, all those things could have happened, but I did exactly as my father said. I said, yes, sir, no, sir. When he told me I was being detained, I did not resist, I did not argue, and I survived the encounter. The key is for young people to survive the encounter. I'd like to add from the public sphere, not the police officer sphere, to say this. If you interact with the police officer and you have your cell phone, turn that phone on. So if not video, at least you can get audio. If you are accompanying someone and they are approached by a police officer, within a certain amount of feet, it is your legal right as a citizen in public to film that encounter. Always film the police. Always film the police. And reason being is we pay them as public service. If it's paid public service, and I want to make sure that my tax dollars are being used in a way that's fair and equitable. Police are human beings. Sometimes they bring bigotry and racism to their door. Police are human beings. Sometimes they're just having a bad day and you're pissing them off. But more than anything, what I need you to understand is all the Black people on here, the ones with badges and with not. The state historically has not been our friend. So now that we have the technology to film your encounter with agents of the state, make sure you always film your interaction with the police while you respectfully engage with the police and survive the encounter.
Special Agent Davis, I just want to ask you really quickly, and Reggie, it's on you after this. How do you all feel about being filmed?
You know what, as Killer Mike mentioned, I mean, it is an individual's right to film, and from a law enforcement perspective, we are trained professionals, and so we need to make sure that we are doing our job effectively as well, and that we are professional in the manner in which we conduct ourselves. And so I don't have a problem with that at all.
My wife got pulled over last night and called me FaceTime. I was in the studio last night talking to her and two Atlanta City police officers. So again, just for the people on the other side, because I have friends and relatives that are police officers now in Atlanta, in East Point, City of South Fulton. I have people that look like everyone on this line that I care about, that I want to get home safely. So non-officers, again, you're trying to survive the encounter, and officers are trying to get home to their families. So in filming, stay respectful, keep your distance, and officers are professionals. So let's just make sure that we're all acting professionally and we're all respecting one another. Because after we take our badges, our civilian clothes off, we all black underneath. And traditionally, the state has never been nice to any of us.
I have one more question, and actually, I asked both of you. Within the things that's going on as of now, and there's guaranteed to be one person, if not 10 people in the group that wants to do something, definitely in regards to this matter. What would you advise them? What would you say they can make the first effort to do?
The first effort I would advise young people to do is take the best care of yourself you possibly can. And that's mind, spirit, and body. I would advise you to take 10 minutes a day to sit quietly and without any distraction from other people. I would encourage you to move your body around as much as you can. And I would encourage you to feed your brain. Educate, educate, educate. I went to elementary school with kids that had been in and out of foster care. I went to high school with kids that had been adopted and in foster care. And what I saw was a determined group of individuals that I had already faced many uncertainties and life hardships that I had yet to. I can remember being young and me and my sisters complaining about something, and our grandmother taking us to volunteer with organizations, including but not limited to things like Carrot Seals, Sadie Mae Homes, all these organizations that were around our house that let us know that people are working through tougher conditions than you. So I want to tell the kids at Carrot Steel, you guys are already light years ahead in terms of perseverance and understanding mentally what it will take to be successful. Feed those beautiful brains of yours. Give yourself all the information and education you can, because even though life does not always deal us a fair hand, if you properly educate yourself and you're morally and from a character perspective sound, I guarantee you the next phase of your life will get greater and greater with each year, because you are taking care of the most important person in your life first, and that is you. You are special. You are unique. God did not make you by mistake. You are not an accident. You are on a journey toward greatness. All you have to do is make sure that you stay navigated toward it and do not get distracted by the throws to your right and left that seek to take you off your path.
Yes, sir.
And I would just add that, from a law enforcement perspective, there are so many programs that are out there, and they are available to all of you. And one of the programs that obviously I hold dear and near to my heart is the Law in Your Community. And that is a program that is presented by Noble members. And it basically teaches you how to interact with law enforcement. So it's a very, very good program. Also, a lot of these local police departments and sheriff's offices have the Explorers program. And that's another program that teaches you how to interact with law enforcement. And actually it prepares you for a career in law enforcement. So it gives you that firsthand knowledge of what it is that we do from a law enforcement perspective. And another program is called the Junior Cadet Program. And that's a program that provides high school seniors who are interested and truly interested in pursuing a career in law enforcement. We help them along the way. And unfortunately right now, because we are in a pandemic, all of these programs are either virtual and or suspended, but I would say still don't give up and still reach out to your local law enforcement agencies so that you can be a part of it, so that you can see law enforcement from our viewpoint.
Oh, you guys are both awesome. We could spend the whole hour with you both. We thank you so much for what you're adding to this. I know you may have to go, Mike, because you had a late night, got stuff to do today, but
I was in the studio with Taniyah all night last night.
I figured you all were busy. and he's supposed to be waking up and joining us in just a bit as well. So
Okay.
if you want to hang out backstage, answer some questions, we'd appreciate it. Agent Davis, you as well, because a lot of people have questions about the programs you mentioned, and we are going to introduce some more of our program right after this. So we thank you, don't we, Reggie?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Reggie. I appreciate
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
He's awesome. He's awesome. All right. That was pretty cool, Reggie.
Yeah, it was very humbling. It's a very humbling experience to share both knowledge and getting a better understanding of how we can move forward in taking the first step.
It sure is. Now we're going to move to the next step of our program, which is called Your Reality. And you'll understand why in a moment. We're getting to start by showing you a video. We're going to tell you ahead of time. This is very disturbing. I've had to see this numerous times, as many of you have as well. But it really helps to give us the background of what this town hall is all about and why we are here and what our next guest faced. This is a report from CBS 46 showing the body camera footage of Atlanta police officers confronting 22-year-old Messiah Young and 20-year-old Taniyah Pilgrim in a car in downtown Atlanta. Messiah and Taniyah are going to join us right after this story. Again, I want to emphasize this may be difficult for some of you to watch.
I didn't want to come.
And that was the one I was supposed to
show it to you because according to statements from the officers, the couple's car was stopped on International Boulevard when Officer Hood, you're seeing his video here, asked the driver, Messiah Young, to move. Young refused, and you can see Young starts recording the interaction on his phone. Officer Hood tells Young he'd be arrested if he didn't move his car, then opens the door and tries to grab him. There's a lot going on here. Young drives off and pulls up to where traffic is stopped ahead of him, and that's when officers swarm the car. Hood makes his way to the passenger side.
Get out the car. No, I don't know what's going on. Okay, stop the car. Stop. Stop. Okay, I'm getting out. Stop. Stop. Stop.
And that video is hard to watch, but we did want to show you in its entirety to understand what happened today and what led up to the firing of those two officers. That body camera footage from Officer Ivory Streeter, you could see he was the officer who tased 22-year-old Messiah Young last night. Officer Streeter has been fired from the Atlanta Police Department.
Whew, as we said, that video very tough to watch, but it does set up why we are here and what this is all about. Messiah, Taniyah joining us right now live. Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you for having us.
I know that's got to be tough for you guys to watch over and over again. Can you tell us what your thoughts were when those officers were fired from the department after what you went through?
I mean, initially our response was, this is a step forward, but at the same time, we're still not satisfied because, this is still happening across the nation. Law enforcement is abusing their power and kind of tormenting young people on a daily basis. So, until something is done about the whole culture of policing as a whole, that's when we will be satisfied.
Throughout your experience in that one short clip, because I could only understand through viewing it, and I'm very sorry that it's happened to both of you. What have you gained from that experience since then? And how what do you hope from someone who is watching this? What do you hope they gain?
I think from this experience, it helped us realize how quick life can be taken from you, and how you don't have to be doing anything bad or like any negative activities to put you in a situation where your life can be taken from you. And from this experience, people watching or people who have to unfortunately see that, I just hope that I just hope that they realize how quickly life can be taken, and I hope that it pushes everyone to use their voice to do things such as like vote and of course protest in order to prevent situations that happen to us from happening to anyone else.
How's your life changed since that incident? I mean, both of you students, ready to graduate, seniors. Has it changed your life?
Yes, actually drastically. Just day-to-day life has been changed. Like not sleeping physically, like our bodies are different. Like there's a lot of things that have transpired from this situation that kind of have negatively affected us.
Tonight,
At the same time, we're still trying to, persevere through everything.
how about you?
The same thing for me. It's a lot of the memories that come along with it, and how much the memory pops into my mind, and how it makes me feel so paranoid and just nervous for me and Messiah in just everyday life in ways that I was never before. Like he said, it's hard to sleep, it's hard to eat normally. It's just that everything just feels different. Like it feels like it's not our lives, we're just living it.
This is probably one of the most traumatic experiences that probably either one of us have ever had. Like just to this day, we couldn't even watch the video before he brought us on. We had to mute it and turn our heads because it's so triggering to watch.
Has this experience for both of you maybe inspired you to create something or try to maybe create a program or set an idea? Has it sparked an idea for you to move forward and attack situations like this so this may not happen to someone else in the future?
Yes, we're definitely doing, what we can to raise awareness and kind of, make sure that these situations are not ongoing. We both have taken, initiative, and we're, going to continue to push for change.
Well, we appreciate you all so much for just doing this. And I know your lives are different. You're still doing a lot of interviews. So we appreciate that. We have some other people in the waiting room. Donna, is that right? Do you want to try and pull them up with us? And maybe they want to join in if possible. We're going to see, because we've been talking about this with you for a while, and we appreciate your attorney giving us the time to spend with you both for the kids to hear this very important message. What are some of the other questions, Reggie, that some of your residents there wanted to hear from these two students?
I think more or less the questions kind of range from just the following days after the incident, just the feeling after that, and pretty much just in a nutshell, how do you find the strength to keep moving forward and keep persevering, and what's the motivation behind that?
So the days following were extremely difficult. Like the following day, Messiah was actually still in jail, so that was just weird and hard. it just, like I mentioned earlier, it's like a feeling of paranoia that I feel like we both carry every single day. And it's just the feeling that something's just not right or something's just off. Yeah, how I think we both continue to push on is just the realization that this could have went different. We could have been dead. So many other people who have been in like negative situations with the cops aren't alive to tell their story and try to make change come about. So I just think what encouraged me to keep going and to push on is the fact that I didn't have to be here anymore. So now I don't want to take life for granted.
Absolutely.
Just kind of the days after, what kind of kept me going was kind of remembering like the stories of, you know, the people that I was sitting in jail with. They kind of were going through like similar things, you know, just like police abusing their power. They weren't doing anything. They were just kind of blindsided, and they're just as confused as I was sitting in jail. So, fortunately enough, you know, this was caught on camera, and other people were able to like see this. So, it kind of just made me want to keep going, and you know, it just knowing that there were other people that were going through this as well. So it was just getting justice for like them and letting them like, you know, understand that they're not alone in this.
Well, we thank you again, because you definitely are not alone. We are all here to support you. The community is here behind you. We appreciate you. So we've got some students who really felt what was going on as well, and they formed protests of their own. Messiah, tonight, I know you guys have things to do as well. You had a busy afternoon, so we appreciate the time you're giving us for this forum.
All the support, all the students who, you know, supported us throughout this entire like process, really appreciate it.
So much.
Wow, so proud of their courage and willingness to help others. Thank you so much to both of them. All right, Reggie, our next segment.
Yes, ma'am. Our final segment in this town hall meeting is your voice. We know many of our young people feel the need to do something, because that is what you're seeing with systematic racism, police brutality, and social inequality. Our next guests have felt the same way too, and have took action by organizing protests. Joining us now are Harrison Rodriguez, Franklin Rodriquez, and Kylie Rice. Welcome to all of you.
Hey guys.
Hello.
So excited. You know what? And we're on such a tight deadline that I am just going to start by telling everybody a little bit about all of you guys. Franklin's a junior at LSU University, where he's on the lacrosse team. He attended the Lovett School. His brother Harrison is a sophomore majoring in music technology on a Zell Miller Scholarship at Georgia State University. He also attended the Lovett School. And those brothers organized the Buckhead for Black Lives protest in June in front of the governor's mansion that attracted an estimated 2,000 people. It was awesome. And right next to them, the fabulous Kylie Rice, a senior at Roswell High School. She's also the daughter of a member of our chapter, Tebby Rice. Among her many activities, she's busy as well. President of the Black Student Union, Southeastern Regional nominating chair for Jack and Jill of America Incorporated. Kylie's organized several protests of her own, including one that ended with a rally at the state capitol. So welcome them all joining us. So excited. Before we get to our questions, I've got some video we want to show folks. So let's check it out.
Hundreds of protesters marching from the West Paces Ferry Shopping Center to the governor's mansion, not that far away. The event was put on by Buckhead for Black Lives. Atlanta Falcons head coach Dan Quinn was also in that large crowd.
Racism sees no party, but it most definitely sees color. I'm tired of seeing African American individuals fall fatally into the ongoing cycle of police brutality. I'm tired of having to see another hashtag in order to incite social awareness. I'm tired of the public only remembering when Black lives matter when a Black life is lost.
It's a very powerful video, and more so a very powerful step to even take. If I'll start off my question for Harrison and Franklin. What was it like to have so many people willing to be a part of that march?
It was definitely crazy. Like when we first organized it, we weren't expecting the sort of turnout that came about it. We had it through like a couple people at Love It. The students that were still there had their own little thing that they were doing, and we showed up to that before ours, and we saw the people that were there, and most of those people were going to come to ours after. And we were like, wow, like this is like a lot of people. And then by the time we drove to like our like site of where we first started the march, and we saw the people, we were like, wow, we really did we really made this huge impact in just like a week and a half or however long we had. So that was nice to see.
Yeah, it just showed how quickly an impact can be created with a community that we have. It was a collective effort, and I feel like our energy got put into the right places at the right times. So the turnout was surprising, but at the same time, it was very impactful.
Mm-hmm.
And Kylie, you're probably our youngest member on the panel. Just talk about where this activism came from for you and how it felt watching everybody out there listening to you, trying to make a difference.
Well, I think especially because of my age, a lot of people kind of doubt what I'm going to say, and they don't really know that I am an intellectual as well, and I know just as much as they do. So I feel like when I'm standing up on the stage, people are kind of shocked once I open my mouth and I say what I want to say. Like at the protest that I went to where I was delivering that speech, a lot of the people in the crowd, like once I started getting into like the meat of the speech that I was giving, they were like, oh, wow, like you're really preaching. And I was like, yeah, because I think as a young Black teen, this turmoil impacts me the most. And especially because if I want to create a change, then I must become the change that I want to see. So I just feel like if it is my future that's going to be impacted, then I must change it to where I would and like accepted and people hear me just as much as anyone else.
Donna, we've got somebody else that came back to talk to these kids. Is he still there? There he is. Mike, what do you think of what these kids are doing?
I think they're amazing. I know people underestimate you. I've been an organizer since I was 15 years old. I'm currently 45, so it's 30 years of organizing. They're going to doubt you when you're 15. They're going to doubt you when you're 25, 35, and 45. But I challenge you all to remain on the path you are, and that's a path of plot, plan, strategize, organize, and mobilize. If it is not for people like the people on this line with me now, young people determined to see the world progress, the world would still be in the dark ages. So I applaud you all. I push and value you all, and I appreciate your work on the behalf of, first and foremost, taking care of yourself, to be intellectuals, to be thinkers, to be philosophical leaders, and to be organizers. And I also make that my community, or I know my community is better off for having you, and you don't have to wait to be leaders. You guys are absolutely leaders now.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
I have a question for Kylie. So, as a high school student, or at the time you were, what was it like going back to your high school or interacting with students from your high school once they saw you and Harrison and Franklin do the march?
Well, I attended their march that they put on, and I saw just the impact that that large march did have on everyone. And in my school, I'm kind of known for voicing my opinions and not being shy to test the waters with how people feel on certain topics. So because my school is majority white, I usually have a lot of educational conversations with people in the classroom. So them just seeing what I was doing, a lot of them kind of opened their eyes to see my perspective, and they kind of just supported me, which I was surprised about, since many of them during the heated debates in the classroom were very against what I had to say. So after I kind of came out and did my protest and was speaking along and created my platform, When Will It End? And a lot of my white peers started following the platform, seeing and then like engaging what I had to say. Most of them were supportive, besides the few, you know, who would drive by during the protest, say some racial slurs, and of course you're going to run into a few bad apples, I would say, but the majority were very supportive, and they were just congratulating me on like what I was doing in the community.
Now that march was, the Buckhead March, 2,000 people, a lot of logistical problems, had to talk to police because so many people showed up. Mike, I've asked you this before, but want you to address this with them. You know, folks want to say, stop protesting. You know, what do you expect to get from this? Why are you doing this? We don't want to see you doing these kinds of protests. What, is that right? Is that the right thing to tell these children?
No, this is America. America, the country is a protest. This is a protest against a monarchy and an experiment in free will and capitalism, in which the people run the government. So an American telling you to not protest is about the most un-American thing you can do. I may not agree with your protest. I may not agree with your point, but your right to protest is something I always agree with. I read a man named Noam Chomsky, who's a known anarchist and one of the greatest thinkers of our time. And he says in regards to protest and freedom of speech, if you do not want freedom of speech or the right to, you know, or what we refer to as a protest for the person you disagree with, then you really do not want or value freedom of speech. So I encourage protests in America. If it's dumb people I don't believe with, their cause, waving rebel flags, wearing Michael Jordans and saying F black people, that's your right. Protest. But if it's beautiful and light and young progressive thinkers like yourself, not only do I absolutely support it, I support it in action by putting feet on the ground when I can. I support it by donations for organizations I believe in. And hopefully what we're doing today is pouring into you guys so that you understand leadership is not something that you wait on. It is something you absolutely are now. And if you put 2,000 people in any place to protest, you can organize political campaigns and put people in those polls. So I want to keep encouraging you guys to do that, because the wonderful black, beautiful mayor, brilliant black woman mayor that we have now was elected by 700 and some odd votes. That means that you literally tripled the amount of people that it would have taken to vote to get her not only win a mayoral race, but by a landslide. So keep pushing, keep protesting. After protest, remember to plot, plan, strategize, organize, and after you mobilize that protest, go into your next steps. So after we make the scene, after we stop traffic, after we let people know what our cause is, let's make sure that the next step is we sit down with our legislators. Let's make sure that we're directing monies where they need to go, and let's make sure that we're supporting young people like you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have another question.
You're very welcome. Thank you all. I appreciate you greatly.
I have another question for Harrison and Franklin. If you could explain to the younger people, how was it like to both try organizing and keeping everything in control with the amount of people that were a part of the protests? And also, if you can explain how you were able to communicate with the police there.
Firstly, we had a group of organizers that worked with me and Franklin. There were about 12 or 13 of us, maybe. And I think we realized as young people, we're really good at using social media. So especially organizing the event, we branched out in social media throughout the many people that we know. And we had people spreading the word on different platforms, even Instagram, Facebook, even Snapchat stories. We had people, you know, really generating some heat about the movement that we were trying to put on. Logistics wise, we had a group chat and we had Zoom meetings with the organizers, going over, you know, where we can park, where we can meet up, places like that, how we can get everybody in and out on time. We wanted it to be a certain time window, no more than 2 hours really. And even for me, because my role there was basically technology and the PA system and things. So when I went over there, I went there first. And so I went over to the police and I said, look, we have a big group coming in, and we're going to try to keep it as to the side as possible. I went and got the PA system, the speaker, and then I came back and I found that the police had given us an entire lane of space where we could kind of congregate there. And so traffic was still moving two ways in the turn lane and in the other lane there, but he gave us an entire lane to ourselves in front of the governor's mansion where we could meet up and have a little gathering and things to move on with the rest of our program. So that was really nice.
Yeah, we also had to call like some of the store owners of the I guess like shopping center that we were like originating at, to basically explain to them what we were doing and I guess ask them if it was okay, but really like we was gonna do it regardless. But so we had to inform them, and then by the time we originally started walking, we were told by the police officers to try to keep everybody on the sidewalk. And so I was in the front, and it was like everybody was on the sidewalk for the beginning, but by the time I turned back, like there were more and more people coming in, and I was like, there's no way that we're gonna have like all these people stay on this like little sidewalk. And so gradually as we got closer to the governor's mansion, we started moving on towards the streets, and the police officers were being very like accommodating and understanding of like the magnitude of people that we had, and like what we were doing, who was there, like y'all weren't finna tell us to just stay on the sidewalk, like we needed all this space to get moving. So that was good.
And another thing I want to point out is as we were walking, because if you all don't know, the West Paces Shopping Center to the governor's mansion on both sides is just nothing but houses. And so as we were walking, it was great to see a lot of families kind of picnicked out on their driveways, or sitting out on their driveways with coolers, with water, passing water to everybody as we walked by. There were people driving up and down the streets, making sure everybody was okay. There was first aid and things. So we had a lot of support from these families that received word, just a few days before the march actually happened, that we were coming through. So it was great to see, again, the impact that we have over social media. We don't realize it, but our voice in social media can be blown up, very, very widely.
Yeah.
And that's the last quick question. Reggie, ask them about this for anybody else who may want to do something.
Yes. Any advice for anybody who would like to start or organize protesting?
I would say do it. I would say don't hold back. It doesn't matter. And I feel like a lot of people have a fear that if they host a protest, then like no one will come. I just want to erase that fear, because whether it's one person or 2,000, you're still making an impact in your community. And it does not matter the amount of people who show up. It's just a matter of like what you're doing within yourself to make a community impact. And it does not take a lot to organize a protest. Like, as they said, it's just a little social media post saying, meet us at wherever at this certain time, and just bring water bottles and a megaphone. And that's all it takes. It is not a really big deal. Literally anyone can do it if they want to. They just need to have drive and motivation to create some reform. But it is a very easy process.
Well, we thank you guys all for joining us for this very insightful discussion. Amazing. Appreciate you making a difference in our community each and every day. Mike wants to join us real quick at the end to say something as well.
Yeah. Hey, guys. T.I. was literally in the recording booth as I was texting with him on the other line. He sat backstage for a while. Sorry, but he has a record due in a matter of hours. We were up all night, so he apologizes, but the next time we'll be on together. But he wanted to let you know that you guys are the pride of the West Side. He is as proud as every student and every human being in Prayers Field as he is on any kid on Baker Road or Carrier Drive. Thank you, young organizers, for taking up the helm of leadership now and not waiting. We both support you immensely. We look forward to seeing you in the community in leadership position over the next 20, 30 years. And just, you can, you must, you will. You can, you must, you will. You have our full support. Thank you.
Love that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely, guys.
And as we said, we have a member of our Magnolia Links chapter's daughter, and Franklin Harrison are the sons of, everybody knows Frank Ski from the radio. So you guys have been awesome. Thank you so much. Reggie, has that been pretty cool?
Thank you.
Yes, it's been very wonderful.
Proud of you guys. Keep us
Thank you,
posted
thank
on what
you.
you're doing.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, now you get to bring on your best buddy.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you to all the panelists today. I've learned a lot, and I know those watching did as well. I want to give a special thanks to Magnolia Links Incorporated and to all the wonderful ladies who, well, a wonderful lady and Miss Karen Greer who allowed me to co-host with her today. It's been truly an honor. I also want to introduce you to a fellow college student who is also alumni of Carey Still Pitts, Mr. Dennis Jacobs.
Hey, Dennis, welcome. Tell everybody what you're doing these days. Wait, because we got you muted. Hold on. There we go. Maybe we can hear you now. Nope, can't hear you. All right. What you doing, Dennis? I'm not sure what happened, but besides giving us some great music, tell us what Dennis is doing, Reggie.
Dennis, he is getting himself organized. He's a wonderful guy, you know, very musically talented, as everybody knows, and as everybody heard through the wonderful intro of the today's show. But he's also a hardworking young man, and I'm proud to call him a friend and fellow alumni.
He's a student at Savannah College of Art and Design, SCAD, better known as SCAD, and he's actually studying music design. What did he tell us? I had never heard of that major.
He is studying in music design, and also he is, oh, here he is as of now.
No socially distancing there. All right, Dennis, we're going to let you take it away.
Reggie. How's it going?
How's it going? Tell us about what's going on with you.
Okay. Well, before my mic gave up on me, I'm an attendant of the Savannah College of Arts and Designs. So nowadays, I'm just really focused towards music and trying to kind of knock school out the way and still giving time to projects. So, and then things like this, I mean, I'm kind of honored to be here, happy, kind of like out of breath because I kind of ran down here.
That's live TV. We welcome you. We thank you. The music was fabulous.
Thank you so much.
Yes, we want to thank the other members of the Magnolia Chapter's National Trends Committee who actually helped us put this program on. Couldn't have done it without each and every one of them. All the long meetings we had going through the details, and you know, our boss, you guys know her, Miss Donna Lowry. How's she been for all of this?
She's been great.
Yes.
There you go. Stellar. She's our chair. Adrian Carlisle, Adria Green, Kimberly Redding, Tabby Rice, Linda Woodward, Karen Washington Carter, Betty Ann Cook, Michelle Cobalt, Nicole Evans Jones, Erica Williams, and Tarsha Calloway. And thank you again to our chapter president, Dion Griffin. Fabulous. And we have something special. Anyone watching, we have on the screen, there it is, a code. It's a passport to success. Know the law. It's important. And a book on Georgia laws for all young people and adults should know. It was prepared by the Office of Fulton County Solicitor General Keith Gamage. If you didn't get it on the screen, we're going to have it on our Magnolia Links Facebook page at magnolialinksinc.com. All you do is put your phone up to it. You know how you do it, young people. You teach me. And it kind of takes a picture, and you'll have the whole book downloaded and scanned to your device for free. We also have an evaluation form we'd like for you to complete if you can. Give us some feedback and let us know what we could do better, differently. If you liked it, if you loved it, we want to hear from you. Reggie, I'm so glad you could be here to do this with me. It was really a lot of fun, and I know you can be whatever you want to be. I'd love to see you as an international journalist.
Thank you. Today has really been a humbling experience, and I am just as humbled to share this experience with you as being a co-host.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We hope you have a great afternoon, and we will post a video of this show on the Magnolia Links Facebook and YouTube pages. So please share it with others. We'd love to see you do that. Early voting begins next week on Monday. So for those of you who can vote, get out there and make your voice heard. I'm Karen Greer, along with
Reginald Holloway.
Have a great day, everybody.
If you place your importance on this, which is like appreciation, love, you know, it's like that is